For those that know me, know by that who I am. For those that don't, my name is Chalie Boy. Challieboy. Chalie, not Charlie. No R. Man, I've loved music since my inception to it. My mother's a musician. She's been my musician in my church up until, recently when she retired, So I had no choice but to have a background in music or grow up in music, because those that know that if you play, if you the pianist for your church, it ain't no days off in between nothing. You got Bible study, you got all of that. I mean, so you know. So music's been a background, and since she realized that I had some vocal talent, and ain't no moving back to the back of the pew. Is you always gonna get some solos in, or you gonna be up front singing, and sometimes it deters you from wanting to do it later on in life. But if you got a passion for it, then eventually, if it's something you want to do, it's gonna happen. I've always loved music, and it's been a part of my life. And one day, which you probably about to ask this question, I'm gonna go ahead and tell it. I was working at a place called Sanderson Farms right after I graduated, a little after 1998. Yeah, I'm telling my age, and I ain't ashamed about it. Why? Because I'm still here. Anyway, was at a music store. Some old classmates of mine were at the store, and they asked me to sing happy birthday to a young lady, which I did. And the store owner, aka B Nord, aka Donald Gambrell, heard me singing and was like, I got a group of guys out in Huntsville that they working on a tape, and DJ Bull would like to have you come out and sing some hooks. Well, that was kind of a communication got a little wavered, but yet still in the end result, I got to be a part of creating a tape. They heard what they heard and like what my sound and everything on the track, and they asked me to come back if I'd like to be on another. I was like, sure. And it just snowballed after that. That was around late 2000 to early 2001, around the summer. And from there, it's been that. To finalize answering your question, I never realized or had the idea that I'd be doing music on the rap side. Like, if anything, musically, it would have been, singing or whatever. But when it started and it happened, that's what came out. A little bit of singing, a little bit of rapping, and it just stuck. And that was just my feeling and my vibe. So I never expected the rapping part. But then when it came out and I was able to manage it and not make myself look stupid or horrible, that's what I did. Oh man, as far as training, I mean, I'm not gonna say training. Like, my mama it's just natural. Like, and that's not a brag or anything, but I haven't had any vocal training. Thankfully, I had a sound together from what I have to practice with my mom. There was just no training. That was just learning songs, do those songs to the key. I'm not saying my mother's not a trainer, but she's not just a professional songstress or musician trainer for singers. So she was just a musician as far as music. She was a beast with the keys, but as far as, she taught me as much as she could try to teach me to make sure the music came out sonically sounding right. So other than that, no vocal training. Whatever I just picked up from listening to music and artists and hearing my own kind of sound, or the way that I would like to sound, is how it came out. I hold on to my originality. There's a lot of people that do in the industry, because the industry is the industry. Everybody's trying to get into the business and do what they do, right? With that being said, there are a lot of people that actually just have a vocal range or octave that sound like each other. So there's a point to where you run into an obstacle if somebody's signed and it sounds like this, and somebody else is trying to come up and sound their own sound or have their own rap style, tempo, lyrics, and cadence, but they sound like that guy. That's where they clash. You have to do something that makes you stand out in a crowd, even if you sound like the crowd. So you have to really do something to get their attention if you have that same type of sound. Like, I grew up in the mixtape era. I came after Big Mo, and at the beginning point when I started, I received a lot of hate because I sang like him. I didn't rap like him. I didn't do a lot of nuances like him. I was just musically vocal like him. So a lot of people didn't differentiate that at one point. So I received a lot of different blowback behind that, and in the same effect, like coming from some of the direction it was coming from. I mean, like, I'm from Hearn and Calvert, Texas, right down the road from Bryan College Station, Highway 6. Big Mo's in Houston, 290 H-Time, State Line, Southside, Screwed Up, Click. He's already established himself. There is no beef or no creation of beef between he and I. Like, before I even started, I've gotten to see Mo and the Screwed Up Click when the Biggity Bad Boy, JQ, or Jock, my homeboy, he's from the area. He DJs and program director at 97.9 and all of that. Before that, he was down here in Bryan College Station running the radio with the mix shows and everything, and he would bring every popular artist to Hearn, Texas. At a point, our area, there was the talent show around Thanksgiving and the sock hop. So you got the dance for the kids, and then you had the live performance, kind of like the Apollo in our auditorium at Blackshear Elementary. And every artist from East Coast to West Coast at that time that was doing something popular. Everybody at some point would always have their individual photo, like their press kit. When you go to the radio station and everything, you could see all of those faces and they're signing autographs, all because of JQ and bringing those artists down. Well, he brought, homegrown talent from Dallas artists to H-Town artists. And I met all those guys and got to see those guys up front, like even before I ever became Chalie Boy, ever. And I got to speak to those guys, and I got to chop it up, and I actually became cool with Mo. Nothing from a distance that why we close brothers or nothing like that, but we built a rapport where before it even came out, and he actually found out that I was the guy that was being Chalie Boy. It was a laughable moment, and we just check in with each other randomly. It's not one of those things. You doing your thing, bro. I know you busy man, and I'm starting to grow into being busy, but our sounds are totally different. He was like, and we'd even laugh about that. It was like, you sing, I sing. They just throw us all in the same bracket. Like, no, when Nate Dogg came out, it's like, man, who is this guy? Like, and when anybody else does anything like that, singing, they say he tries to be Nate Dogg, but they don't have the skill set that Nate Dogg has. You get what I'm saying? Like, Nate Dogg, when you hear Nate Dogg, you swear he needs to be somewhere in the opera. Like, he needs to be belting out operatic raps for like real orchestras, getting paid universal dollars for orchestrating orchestra music. And then you have us. There's no disrespect when I say that, because I'm amongst that. Like, I don't sound like that. I have more of a grassroots churchy feel. So does Mo, but mine still differentiates from him. That's where it all builds into and comes down. You gotta excuse me, I'm doing a lot of ahs. I left my water, so I gotta get it together. But we're here, and you build your own brand, your own style, your own sound. I tell you guys, you got to do something that differentiates you in a vast sea of everything. You have a lot of luxury now that I didn't have. Like, social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, you can go viral in an instant and never know what exactly you did do to go viral. But yet, when you have that opportunity, don't waste it. Any type of positive thing that could come your way, don't waste it. Utilize every bit of social platform. Get your music out, make quality music, make sure you have visuals to be seen, because nowadays in this day and age, it used to just be, we have to come out the trunk. Whatever we made, we either got to sell it as a mixtape, get it out there, or find as many DJs, or actually hit the actual road and go meet DJs, program directors, all of these things, and have to physically be in their presence, like out of state, all of that. Now you just to press a button to send an email, to go live, to chat live, face to face, FaceTime, or Duo, or whatever you have program, and get as much recognition as possible. So I'll say don't slack on that. If you got to drive for it, you will stand out by being consistent and working hard. Your talent and your work ethic are two different things. If they balance out and you pushing yourself forward, you'll be recognized, and good luck to you. Oh, most definitely. It would definitely pique my interest to be a part of that, because if just starting out, there's so many. I'll have to add, because you said if I was a young Chalie boy, and if I was the young Chalie boy in this day and era, or my original era. My original era, most definitely. Because that's the sound of live sound, like real authenticity, and you being able to showcase your voice and your sound and your talent. With this day and age, 1,000 times more, for the fact of that they visually show other things. Like, you guys are doing the same. You guys are doing things that there are others doing, but you're doing it for your town, your area, and that gives it more authenticity and more growth and ability for them to have something like the idea of a press package. Like, this homegrown, this is right down the road, this our state of Texas. Nobody else they don't have to go to another state, up the road, out of town, to get the information or showcase their talents. We had this right here, and we're gonna keep doing this because you got talent, and we're gonna do our best to put you on, where you have some type of resume to show and look at when people come look at you, what kind of talent you have. It's a different experience to literally have some live music playing, and you do a cover of somebody's music, but it's a super drastic different feeling when they're playing your own music and you get the vibe to that. Three artists that are alive. Three artists to inspire my craft. Wow. I'm gonna stick with three, cause that's a good one. That's a good one. Luther Vandross. That's gonna be tough, cause I'm really gonna have to say it had to be a tie. I mean, it's gonna have to be a tie, and it's not even close, but I'll have to tie them together. Luther Vandross and Rick James, cause that, I'll say, for musicians, like singers. And I get to cheat cause Rick James also rap, so that can be my 2 for 1. Busta Rhymes, for his animation, crowd control, and influence, inflection, and lyricism. And I got a 2 for 1 again. But that's cheating, but I got to do it. No, I'm gonna say Bun B, and Bun B would be my 1A, and Scarface would be my 1B. But since I gave the answer, you got to stick with the regular ones. But those guys are all so influential sonically, crowd control, inspiration, and storytelling and energy. I would have to pick those to pad my way, because yeah, when you hear those guys, you don't unhear them. So that would be my pick. Luther 1A, Rick James 1B, Busta Rhymes 1B 1A, Scarface 1B. Top 5 R&B songs of all time?
Like yours, like from your catalog.
My personal?
Yeah, your catalog.
Oh man, y'all trying to put me on the spot. I don't even.
They gotta be like your songs, like your catalog, or like what's in your phone, like what are you listening to?
Nothing.
You don't listen to music?
No.
Okay.
Honest truth. Like, I mean, and it kind of sucks, to be honest, but I love music faithfully. I love music. When I hear it, I gravitate to it and whatever. And I used to at some point, because like, once again, I grew up in a golden age where it was the CD era, right? I mean, books and books and books of CD cases. That was me. You couldn't miss me with a catalog, or if somebody told me something about some music that I hadn't heard or I didn't have in my collection. It didn't matter if I listened to it all or not. If you told me, played me one song of that artist and I loved it, I would go get their whole catalog. So like, you couldn't miss me with music. But at one point in time, I was coming home. Well, I was getting up to go out, and guys had broke into my car and stole all my music. It was like the wind got taken out of me. And since that day, I've never purchased any music. Now I might go on the online and listen, but I don't even do subscriptions for the honest fact, and this is just my opinion. I don't want a subscription to something that I want to own. I don't want to have to keep a phone going for me to have record of my music history. If something happens to my phone, then all my music is gone. Yeah, I can go to a computer and try to get it backed up or anything, but even then, when my subscription goes away, my music goes away. That means I don't own it. That means I don't physically have it. And I'm not looking. It sucks for me to think about it that way, that the idea that someone has control over what I own. Like, this is my lifeblood. This has been a part of my life, my history, and I've been able to physically have copies of these, to physically have someone sign these for me, to physically tell me thank you, shake my hand, because they hand to hand. They personally were there at some point to grind it out. Like, I've gotten to grind it out and get that core crowd fan base, and to go from that to being like, yeah, you can have all these songs for 99 cents, but when you mess around, we take it all away. No, I mean, if I got it, it's mine to own, to have, to listen to. Music is for everyone, and you shouldn't be able to police it like that. And I never got any subscriptions because I never want to be comfortable with having something and not having any type of choice, and you take it away from me. It doesn't belong to you. It was never yours. You just housing it to be somewhere for my pleasure, but to pay you for my own pleasure, and I didn't really like that. So that's my honest answer. That's why I no longer have music. My mother, and growing up, my thinking no bigger inspirational gospel artist like can compare to my Deacon Biggs. Like, he had this, he was wow, I don't know how to explain it. This is nostalgia type stuff. Boss, if you think about the Dukes of Hazzard, Boss Hogg, he had that look. He had a red skin look, and favorite kind of like Boss Hogg in the face, but he had a grown man grab your attention look. You know what I'm saying? And he had that rasp bass and raspiness in his voice, and it was, and like I was like, ooh. I used to emulate him. I say he'd be my biggest influence when it came down to sounding like that, because my mother would play music and she'd make me sing and make me have to look out at the crowd and make sure that they got your attention, or they were getting your attention. You were showing them the music and everything. And when I got to sit back and watch him sing his songs and see the power behind it and see the influence that it would affect people with his raspiness and style, I say I wanted to be like that. So I went a big gospel singer was none of the big gospel singers were my influence. My Deacon Biggs was. Hey, what's up with it? My name is Chalie Boy, Chalieboy, Chalie, not Charlie.
Hey, what's up with it? This is Chalie Boy representing Dirty Third Records, and I'm in the building with JMG, the band. You get it? Got it? We look good, man.